This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Le Echo Le Pro 3. We're going to have a lot of Le's here going on. Now, this is a phone that was introduced at the end of 2016. We had such a full review queue. Well, it had to wait until here, January of 2017 for our review. It's an Android phone, 5.5-inch display, very nice specs like Snapdragon 821 CPU. That's as fast as they get right now. Aluminum body, a lot of nice hardware here, but the software, well, that's a little bit dubious. So who is Le Echo? They're a Chinese company who did streaming online video in China, and they want to branch out into the US. They bought Vizio, the TV company, and they're making a big push with their phones. We're going to look at it now. Let's start with the box, which is nice stuff here. Soft touch, oversized box. Obviously, the phone was in this section over here. Take it away, and wow, look at that. Copying the Fruity Phone people. It looks just like Apple earpods. And in fact, there is a similarity here. These are USB-C earbuds that you get in the box. Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0 supported. Qualcomm Quick Charger USB-C cable right here. But wait, there's more. There is your USB-C to 3.5mm headphone jack adapter. Yes, this is yet another phone that has issued the headphone jack. So, USB-C headphones only. And what's in here? Looks like paperwork, doesn't it? But there's a little something extra. You get a clear case in here. You get a SIM poker tool to get your SIM tray open, and here is a clear TPU case for the phone. The Le Pro 3 runs Android 6.01 Marshmallow with their own custom user interface, which they call EUI. It stands for Ecosystem UI. Gorilla Glass 3 here on the front, 5.5-inch, 1920 by 1080 IPS display. So that's 403 ppi, plenty of pixel density. Yeah, it's not QHD, but then again, it's 399 or less, isn't it? And it's perfectly acceptable resolution. It's not a bad-looking phone, but it's pretty standard looking, I'll put it that way. If you don't like this gold finish, it's also available in silver. We have a couple of nice contrasting bezels here to make it look interesting. Obviously, antenna lines here. And the back it has a gloss finish on it. It's that brushed aluminum look. This is, in fact, made of aluminum. It's around 6.24 ounces, which I believe is 177 grams. So it's a weighty phone. Not too bad looking. Certainly for the price, it's absolutely fine. Speaker down here, and it actually has stereo speakers because the earpiece does double duty as your second speaker too, so that's nice. USB-C connector here for your charger and also for headphones. No headphone jack, no headphone jack, no headphone jack. Nope, not anywhere, nope. Here on the side, this is where the SIM tray is, and it takes one nano SIM, and there is no micro SD card slot. It has 64 gigs of storage, so that's what you're going to live with, which that's a pretty ample amount of storage, unless you're one of those folks who likes to carry a big music library with you, in which case, well, this wouldn't be the ideal phone for you. 4 gigs of RAM, 2.2 gigahertz Snapdragon 821 CPU, which is currently the latest and greatest. The Snapdragon 821 is, well, a good performer here, and it scrubs about the same as the Google Pixel and Pixel XL, which run on the same CPU. You can see that was our Geekbench score, our Quadrant score here on Tutu, 3D Mark, Ice Storm, and Slingshot. So, fast performing phone, and even though I may not be fond of the software UI, it is not really degrading performance on a day-to-day basis when using it. It has capacitive buttons. They're hidden right here. They really do a good job of disappearing, and you can see they're faintly lit here. The Le Echo symbol is the home button. They reverse the location of back and your multitasking button. The back button is actually on the right side. And also another little change right here is notification shade. Really not a lot of stuff going on here. Obviously no quick settings or anything like that. And one thing I noticed that notifications are hit or miss here. Sometimes they just don't appear, which is great if you're being nagged by Asphalt 8, for example, one of the most naggy games on the planet, but bad if you need to know about your next meeting. But if you tap over here on your multitasking button, here's where your quick settings are. Kind of weird, kind of different. Well, I really don't know why they would want to change that, but they did. Another thing to note here is that Lenovo's done the same thing. It seems that some of the Chinese manufacturers really hate having an app drawer. There is no app drawer here. This little button you might think is your app drawer is not. It is the live feature, as they call it. So this is actually called Le Live, which is this is getting to be a little Le redundant, isn't it? Everything is Le something or other here. Anyway, the content is, you know, and that was supposed to be a big focus for them. They're really more interested in selling the content. When you go to buy this phone, in fact, you buy it from Le Mall. You get the idea that a lot of this is about shopping. Let's go back home again now. Speaking of the Le's, well, to the right of your home screen, here's where every single icon is going to get plastered. If you go here, we have more Le Content. So this gets its own name, and then there's the video, Le Vidéo, and one of these, in the view, one of these actually need to get an update, and I had to turn on Allow from Untrusted Sources, which is kind of unusual for manufacturer bundled software. That wasn't cool, just to get an update. Anyway, all this turns out to be is YouTube videos right here. You just tell it a couple of different categories that you're interested in, and boom, it just throws them there. I'm not sure anybody needs that. So you can see why I'm not super duper in love with the user interface. Changing the paradigm from what people are used to for Android and not for the better is, well, not the easiest thing to recommend. Call quality on the phone is actually quite good. Reception is good as is any carrier phone. This will work on AT&T and T-Mobile in the United States and the smaller GSM carriers with 4G LTE. Of course, it'll also work abroad. Quite a few bands are supported. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, 17, 29, 30, and 38 for LTE bands, for those of you who are keeping track of that and know which particular bands you're most concerned with having in a phone. Data speeds were likewise good as any carrier phone that we've tested. We tested with both T-Mobile and an AT&T SIM. It also has the usual dual-band Wi-Fi, 802.11ac, Bluetooth 4.2, and NFC. The camera on the back is a 16 megapixel with an f2.0 lens. That sounds pretty good, right? No optical image stabilization here, but for the price, again, that's fair. You get slow-mo video pano and a UI that reminds me a little bit of the iPhone here, doesn't it? So let's go back to photo again. And if you slide up, you've got more functions. Beauty shot, square shot, night shot, HDR, and it'll tell you if HDR is used when you're shooting a picture. So, you know, it's a decent camera. In good lighting, it takes nice photos. In dim lighting, it falls behind the competition. You know, the Moto Z Play actually and the OnePlus 3T do beat it in the camera department. Likewise for video here. This can shoot 4K video, and it's just not the sharpest looking video that I've ever seen. I would say okay for the price, but those two competitors really do better. Up front, we have an 8 megapixel selfie camera that actually does a pretty good job. Performance is fine for things like Asphalt 8, which is a pretty demanding game here. Accelerometer works fine too. And you can hear the stereo speakers right now. We're about 50% volume, and it's pretty close to my microphone. Not really all that loud, but decent sounding, not too tinny, reasonably full. They're okay speakers, you know, not exactly HTC boom sound in the heyday. The Le Pro 3 has a fingerprint scanner on the back, which works just fine, not unlike the Google Pixel XL I have right here. So clearly an very affordable alternative to the Pixel XL, which is an expensive phone. But then again, here is our OnePlus 3. Around the same price, actually OnePlus 3T. Even a little bit slimmer design, a prettier curved glass display, cleaner UI. This is what I'm talking about here. This is why I would pick the OnePlus 3T. And, you know, for finishes, I leave it up to you as to which kind of finish you like better, the glossy brushed metal look or the kind of muted thing that OnePlus does with their phones. So how about battery life? Boy, there's good news here. 4,070 milliamp battery. And again, it supports Quick Charge 3.0, and a Quick Charge charger is in the box. So you can top it up 40 or 50% in a half an hour. Battery life, especially given the fact that it has a full HD display and not a higher resolution display, is excellent. I mean, this thing with moderate use can go 2 days on a charge, no problem. That's one of my favorite things about the Le Pro 3. So there you have it, the Echo Le Pro 3. It is a lovely piece of hardware that's brought down by excessive software. Let's put it that way. The software on top of this really does detract from the experience, and that's a shame because it's a lot of hardware for the money. But as you can see, phones like the OnePlus 3, OnePlus 3T really, you know, give you a better software experience plus very good hardware too. So it's kind of tough. But that said, it's unlocked, it's free. Any GSM carrier here in the United States is going to work, overseas too. Supports a lot of LTE bands. It has some things going for it. There's just that software. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos, and thumbs up if you liked it.